I told myself, you know what, I'm going to leave this, but now I could really pour 100% of myself into Naturally Philo. So that was my idea. My idea was to now I'm going to be a full-time YouTuber. Now I'm going to make more videos, collaborate with more brands. I also told myself, you know what, let's build Kin Apparel. Hey, this is Philomena Kane, aka Naturally Philo, and you're listening to Dreams in Drive.
Hey, Dream Drivers, welcome to episode 274 of the Dreams in Drive podcast. And as promised from last week, we are going to be having an update episode, a Where Is She Now episode with Philomina Kane, the CEO of Kin Apparel. So let's talk a little bit about Philomena. Who is she? So in the summer of 2014, Philomena began her YouTube channel, Naturally Philo. After making many style tutorials on Snapchat, her friends encouraged her to take her loud mouth somewhere else, so she did. She used her platform to make fun, educational hair care content to empower Black women to embrace their natural selves. Since that summer, she has amassed over 188,000 subscribers on YouTube, which she calls her kinfolk, has over 12 million views. Her expertise in hair care landed her the marketing director role at Natural Club, where she worked for 3 years before leaving to pursue her own entrepreneurial journey. Today, she continues to produce hair care content on YouTube while building her satin line hoodies brand, Kin Apparel. So as I mentioned, Philomena was actually a guest on episode 42 of the podcast, and last week we did a throwback episode, so if you had a chance to re-listen to that one, you'll learn all about where she was 5 years ago and all that she has been up to now. This episode is filled with so much, guys. Philomena gives us the down and dirty on some things such as what it means for your dream to evolve, the decision post-Princeton that changed her life, why she had to quit her job as a marketing director, right? And how COVID-19, the global pandemic, really set her business up for success and how she was able to use and leverage the past year to really grow her following and her digital marketing skills. You are in for a treat. Philomena is such a gem, and I know that you're going to enjoy hearing her share her dream driving journey. As always, guys, if you enjoy this episode, make sure that you're sharing it across your social media. We are Dreams in Drive across the board, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and use the hashtag Dreams in Drive when sharing. And if you want to join our email newsletter and get weekly updates, just go to dreamsindrive.com/join. That's dreamsindrive.com/join. And lastly, Philomena has so graciously made a coupon code for you listeners. So if you want to get 15% off your Kin Apparel satin line hoodies, just use the code DreamsInDrive at checkout. That's DreamsInDrive at checkout at kinapparel.org to get 15% off satin line hoodies from Philomena's brand. All right, let's hear all about what Philomena has been up to since our first interview in 2016. Hey, Philomena, welcome back to the driver's seat, girl. It has been a long time.
Hey, Raina.
You know, this is such a proud moment for me. I'm just also so proud of you. You know, I'm always telling you that in your Instagram DMs.
Yes.
You know, Philomena is part of our Where Are They Now series. And we first caught up with Philomena back in 2016, girl. I'm about to tell you the facts.
Crazy.
Right?
Yes.
You only have 30,000 subscribers, right?
Aww.
You are incoming senior at Princeton, so you hadn't even graduated yet.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, you know, you still wanted to get your PhD, right?
That's crazy.
You were still talking about Snapchat and how like you got, you know, you were going hard for Snapchat and YouTube. You were in the beginning days of your Naturally Philo YouTube page. And now, girl, we're going to get to it, but you have grown so much since then. That's 4 years ago. Can you imagine? Like, think about it, where you were 4 years ago and where you are now. Like, what are the first things that come to mind for you?
How what I was telling myself I was going to do has changed significantly. How in 2017, I told myself I was going to work for a year and go back to school for my master's because I wanted to become an epidemiologist, and how that the whole course of my life changed because of that job that I took after my senior year of college, because that job made me realize, like, okay, actually, I want to pursue this passion of mine. And now I'm in the midst of pursuing it. So it's really crazy.
So yeah, Philomena, you really are the definition of a dream that has evolved, right? And I know you were a whole evolutionary biology major, Princeton, so you know the whole idea of what evolution means. But yeah, speak to me just about how that feels to know that the dream has evolved beyond anything that you could have really imagined 4 years ago.
Yeah, 4 years ago, I wanted to become an epidemiologist. I told myself I was going to take 1 year off to work, and then go back to school. And in really like thinking about it and analyzing this further, I really think I wanted to be an epidemiologist because it was still in line with what African parents want their kids for their kids to do. Like, and I say that because, African parents, like, you're going to be an engineer, a doctor, or a lawyer. So it was still in like the whole like doctor realm of things. So I told myself I'm going to go back to school. And I actually got into the Columbia School of Public Health. It was like the Millman School. And I got into the epidemiology program, and I was set on starting, I want to say 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, the fall of 2019, I think. But yeah, that changed. I can get into how that changed.
Yeah, so let's talk about it, because you mentioned earlier that it was that first job post college that you decided to take that changed things. So first, speak to me of what made you take this job that was really outside of everything, I guess outside of your future plans, right? Because if you were thinking about going back to school, this was not the job that would be in line with that, right?
Not at all. So, there was an email. So back in college, one of my great friends, his name is Jerron. He sent me an email from this organization called Venture for America. And Venture for America, you can think of it as like Teach for America, but for like businesses. So basically they take aspiring entrepreneurs and you work with an upcoming company just to like learn from them. And what they want you to do at the end is like create your own company. So I took the job as the marketing director for Natural Club, which in 2017 was not known at all. Natural Club is a hair care company mainly known for their avocado deep conditioner. So basically they make fresh natural hair products. So natural you have to refrigerate it. That was the whole motto. So when I took that job, I was actually like the first hire. There was the CEO Mukja, the COO Sam, and then me. I was hired to do marketing there.
And you were still, that's a big role for a recent college graduate, girl. Director.
Yes, it was a big role. But if you think about like in the startup realm, startups are so small that like the first people there get these huge titles.
Yeah.
So that's how it was. I was like the marketing director. I'm like, shit, damn, let's get into this. But, I took the company. It was like from the grassroots level. I was the only hire. Plus there was another girl doing customer service. So that was Jamie, and she was like the first hire to do customer service. I was the first hire to do marketing. So I took that job mainly because it was a hair care company. And, I've always loved hair care ever since I chopped off my hair in 2014 to go natural. Hair care has been a huge passion of mine with my natural hair YouTube channel and all those videos I'd be making on YouTube and Instagram. I wanted to take that role because I knew that I was good at content creation. And when you're good at content creation, you should be good at marketing. At least that's what I thought. So that's why I took the job, because I told myself I'm going to work for a year doing something I like, and then I can go back to school. But in working for a year, I was like, wait a minute. I actually love this. I do not want to leave yet.
So what did you love about it?
What did I love about it? The one thing I love about marketing is seeing your ideas work. And what I mean by that is like when you create content and you put it out there and you see sales. Like when I think about marketing, I think about finding what people desire and making content around that to pique that desire and make them say, oh, actually, yeah, I want to try this. I love the whole psychology around marketing. So whenever I created an ad for Natural Natural Club or made a video on YouTube promoting their products, I always thought about what does my audience want to see and what are they yearning for that they don't see in the market today. And that's how I was able to produce content and actually develop a lot of products for Natural Club as well, because there were certain things that weren't in the market that I can pinpoint. So I love the whole idea of like, you know what, I think I know what people want. So let's do this way. And then we put it up as a Facebook ad and as an Instagram ad, and we get all these orders. And I'm like, yes, it worked. It was like the gratification of it all that I loved about marketing.
Yeah. And, thinking about your own work with your YouTube channel, Naturally Philo, you also had a lot of practice too. So you really weren't coming. I know we said it in joke with your whole, director level role, but you were really coming in as an expert in content creation and the beauty space as well.
That's true, because and that's really why I wanted the job. And I think I got the job because so when you get into Venture for America, you're supposed to apply to many different startups. I only applied to 2, and then you get assigned an advisor. So my advisor will call me all the time, like, Philomena, you had to apply to more startups. And then I was like, but I really think I'm gonna get this one.
It worked out though, right? You trusted your intuition, and that's something that a lot of us don't often do a lot.
Exactly, because even with my interview with the CEO Mukcha, before I had gotten the role, I was giving her so many facts about what she hasn't been doing with that. I keep on wanting to say Kin Apparel. It's crazy because I say Kin Apparel all the time, but I was giving her all of these ideas, and I was like, you need to do this, and this. And she was like, and she was writing it down. So it's from that initial interview, I knew I had the job because I knew I was going to come in and really, really help, because, in 2017, we didn't really see a lot of ads yet from hair care companies. You didn't really see.
And not now, social either.
Exactly. Now advertisement has exploded to the point where Apple is like, nah, y'all got to opt in to see ads. But in 2017, there wasn't a lot of that. So when I came in and I learned how to do ads on Facebook, we went straight for it. And that's how the company really blew up.
So it's funny. I'm going to bring back another moment from your 2016 interview, actually. Mm-hmm. So you always said, in that interview, you said that you had a desire to want to sell products one day. You actually said that you wanted to help. I think you wanted to create an e-commerce site for other entrepreneurs, other hair entrepreneurs. And you specifically said you wanted to help get Mistress J's products to the US, right? Wow. Do you know who you know what I'm talking about? It's somebody from Trinidad or somebody's products that you tried.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Damn, Raina, you coming with the facts.
No, I listened to the interview, right? But I just wanted to share this with you because you really sometimes forget even what you were thinking 4 years ago. So you had the inkling when you said, all right, I want to sell something, but what it was totally different. We'll get into how you started Kin Apparel. But during this time with working with Natural Club, you were still doing YouTube. What was it that you were learning about yourself and your hustle? Was your desire to go into biology and go back to school waning? What were some of the things that were bubbling in your mind during this time?
At Natural Club, let me see. So I worked there for a year, and then I want to say it was 2018, the fall of 2018. That's when I was like, all right, it's time to start studying for the GRE, because I wanted to start school the following year, the fall of 2019. So that was going through my head. I really, really didn't want to leave, but I always told myself I was going to go back to school. That was always something that I told myself, and my family knew that too. So in some ways, and oh my God, Raina, I don't really tell a lot of people this, but I only applied to 2 schools.
That's all right, girl. Were you kind of hoping you didn't get in, or what?
Yes. It's crazy because I was hoping I would not get in. I was hoping the choice would be easier. So I applied to 2 schools, and I got into both schools, and I was just like, dang, now I really have a decision to make. But I really think God really, really knows what he's doing, because God gave me the 2 options. He didn't make it easy on me. He gave me the 2 options so that at the end of the day, I picked the one that I actually wanted without having to just opt into one because it was the only decision I had. It wasn't a decision. It was just the only option.
Okay.
But with these two options, it was like, now you're actually going to make a decision that you want to make, which I think was crazy because I did decide to stay at Natural Club. I decided to stay because I was just like, you know what? I really love this. And I don't think I'm ready to go yet. I don't think like everything I want to do for this company I've done yet. And that's really why I stayed. And also, I had equity in Natural Club. I don't have it anymore, obviously, because I left, but I had equity in Natural Club. I wanted to take it further. And also with that position that I had, if the company was to go further, that was more income in my pocket. So I was just like weighing all the options like that. And I decided to stay because I was just like, you know what, I could continue working for this company and also making YouTube videos. And that's not a bad deal.
Yeah, so I'm saying this for all the people who are listening, who are, children of immigrants, right? Mm-hmm. Who you have to tell the bad news. I'm saying that in quotations, right? Tell the bad news to your family or let them know, hey, y'all, what y'all want from me is not what I want for myself right now. How did you do that? And why do you think it's something that can be so hard yet so important?
Yeah, what's crazy was a whole intervention.
Really?
Yeah, it was a whole intervention. My mom's a pastor, and there was one day after church, she called me downstairs to her office with my grandmother, and she was just going on and on about how like I made the decision without telling her because, you have to like opt in or opt out of like saying you're going to be starting in the fall. And I basically was like, no, I'm not starting. And she said like I did that without like getting her blessing, which is true. I mean, I didn't want to have the conversation with her. And at the end of the day, I was like, this is like my life, even though it's hard to tell African parents that, but like, and also for people that don't know, I'm Ghanaian, from Ghana, West Africa. So I decided to just do it. She was definitely pissed. She was like, why would you do this? And I mean, at the end of the day, I was just like, you know what, Mom, like one thing I would say is that even though my mom was mad, it wasn't like life threatening. Like it wasn't like I'm about to disown my daughter. Because one thing that I would say my mom has always done is supported my passions. Like ever since I was a little girl, I've always loved being on camera. And I don't know if you remember, but I was in a lot of like Princeton productions. I was in the Four Colored Girls. I really love acting and African dancing. So from a young age, my mom actually got me into acting school. I was in acting school for like 2 years while I was in high school. So she knew that I loved production. She knew that I loved just being on camera. So because she supported that, like I knew she wasn't gonna go like crazy for me not going back to school. Like at the end of the day, I think she just wanted what I wanted to actually work. And that's like any parent. Like I understand it. It's like you want the best for your children. So I would say that she is definitely happy now.
She probably didn't even remember being mad, right?
I know, right? It's crazy because the other day I was like, remember when you wanted me to go back to school? You think I could have done all this if I was in school? And she was like, it's crazy how God works. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah. And you know what I think too, how did you mitigate working for a company that was basically you're helping someone else build their dreams at this point? Did at this point you ever think, hey, I could have my own company? Or were you just really excited to be part of the growing season of another company?
Yeah, it's crazy because what you just said is why I had to quit Natural Club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In the beginning, I loved it. In the beginning, I was like, yeah, I'm a work for Natural Club. Like, let's really do this. Let's really build this company because I love building. I love knowing that I was one of the reasons why a company is so successful today, And the thing is, I wouldn't change it for the world because I learned so much about business there. I learned so much about digital marketing there. And what I've learned has helped me grow Kin Apparel super fast. So I wouldn't change it for the world. I think Venture for America is a great program in that it gave me this opportunity to work for a startup, and then at the end of the day, actually start my own startup. So their whole mission is like spot on. But I will say that I left Kin. I was about to say I left Kin Apparel. I haven't said Natural Club in so long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I left Natural Club mainly because it became a conflict of interest. And I want to say, and it became a conflict of interest because so I'm working for a hair care product company, and I'm also a hair care influencer. So you can imagine like the clash. And what I mean by clash is that like, okay, I'm over here reviewing all of these other brands, right? On my YouTube channel and trying all these different products and telling the kinfolk, try this, don't try that, try this, don't try that. And then at the end of the day, I wake up in the morning and I have to sit in a 9-to-5 job trying to promote a hair care brand. You know, so it's like no, it's like what I do on YouTube isn't what I do for Natural Club. Like Natural Club had Philomena Kane, not Naturally Philo. Like Natural Club had Philomena Kane, and YouTube and Instagram has Naturally Philo.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that became a clash because Natural Club wanted Naturally Philo, but didn't want to pay the Naturally Philo dollar.
You mean your brain power or just your like whole intellectual property? Like what?
My likeness. So I remember vividly, I was speaking to the CEO one day and she wanted me to do an IG live. And then I was like, yeah, I'll go on IG live for Natural Club. But then she was like, no, we're going to market it as Naturally Philo, and we're going to put it on our listserv, send out an email like Naturally Philo is going to be doing this on our IG live. And I was like, wait a minute, like Naturally Philo doesn't work for Natural Club. Like you can't just use my likeness to get more views like that. You know, you got to pay Naturally Philo, because right now you pay Philomena Kane to be the marketing director for Natural Club. So it was like, you know, scenarios like that. And also there was a point where I had to like sign a document. Yeah, there was a clause in there that basically said that if you're working for a Natural Club, you can't take business that is in the same business as Natural Club.
That's not gonna work, right?
Exactly. That's why I was saying it's a conflict of interest, because when I read that, I was like, hold on. Basically, this is telling me that if I'm working for Natural Club, I can't really do what I'm doing on YouTube anymore because it's in the same business. It's like I'm reviewing hair care products for natural hair care product brands, and I work for Natural Club. Like, so I came to the CEO with that, and I was like, hey, like, this basically says I can't be a YouTuber. And then she was like, okay, no problem. Why don't you write down on a spreadsheet all the things you do as a YouTuber and as a content creator, and we could take a look at it. So basically I put all of that on a spreadsheet, and she went in and put a yes and a no on things that I can continue to do and things that I can't continue to do. Some of the things that she said I can't continue to do were things that made me money. Right. For example, it was like sometimes I'll make a video for a brand on YouTube and they'll be like, hey, we want to take parts of this video and use it as an ad. So basically the company will pay me for the rights to my video to use it as an ad. Yeah. And she said, hey, yeah, you can't continue doing that. And I understood from her point, because it's like, damn, if people were, and my thing is, people didn't really know I was the marketing director of Natural Club.
Yeah, like I feel, you know, and that's the thing that I think a lot of us face is you don't owe your job anything outside of the job. Does that make sense? Like your brand is what you want it to be and what you want to show. And if you're doing something outside of work, you don't necessarily have to promote. Sure, it would be good if you had said, hey, I'm Naturally Philo and I work here, but that wouldn't be good for your business, right?
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, I didn't want my audience thinking that my reviews for Natural Club were not truthful enough. But because the thing is, I really pride myself on real reviews. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat reviews. I didn't want people thinking, oh, she worked for Natural Club, of course she's going to say that. No, Natural Club actually has some pretty good products. Some of which were my ideas or like things that I came up with. But yeah, going back to the story, some of the things she wanted me to stop doing, I made money doing. So in my defense, I was like, so is my salary going to increase?
And that's another hard conversation, especially being a young woman. People, I'm not assuming that she was like this, but it's good that you were advocating for yourself, because you really could have just said, okay. Yeah. And then would have been like Bobo the Fool, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there was no way I was going to say okay, because like for years, like YouTube was a great, like supplementing my income. Like YouTube was like awesome, because it's like I make videos on YouTube and then brands collaborate with me, and the income that I get from that sustains like how I live, or even like I'm able to give my mom some money or my grandmother some money because of it. So just like taking that out, I wanted to know if she was gonna like increase my salary, which was a no, obviously. So I came to the hard decision, I want to say like 2 weeks after, that I was going to leave. And it was because I didn't want to sign the document, and I didn't want to let go of like something that I had been doing since 2014. Like, that's crazy. So yeah, I gave her a month's notice. I remember, I think I left, I think it was March 1st. March 1st, I put in my 1 month notice. And, people usually do like a 2-week notice, but mine was 1 month notice, because I was like, you know what? I'm the marketing director. It's going to take time. If I'm about to leave, I can't give these people 2 weeks. Yeah. So it was a whole month notice, trying to like change up the whole organization, trying to find someone. Thankfully, I had just hired like someone right below me, which was like I'm not sure what her title was, but now she's the marketing director. Thankfully, I had just hired her. So I was like helping her transition to a higher role. So yeah, ultimately I left Natural Club because of the conflict of interest.
Yeah, and so did you have a plan, right? Because I'm picturing like you're at the door, you got your bags. Where were you going next? Or did you know? Were you nervous? Talk me through that.
Yeah. What's crazy? Remember I said March 1st?
Yeah.
So a couple weeks after that, there was the COVID shutdowns.
Oh, yes. 2020. So this was 2020.
This was last year, 2020.
Okay.
But when I had put my 1 month in, there was no talks about COVID in the US. Like, everyone was chilling. There was no mask. People didn't know how severe it was or how severe it was becoming. So 2 weeks later, we're now working from home, and I'm just like, "Ooh, it's getting crazy up in here."
But you couldn't put back your resignation, like, maybe I need this job.
But the thing was, I didn't really care.
Okay, good.
And I say that because I told myself, you know what, I'm gonna leave this, but now I could really pour 100% of myself into Naturally Philo. So that was my idea. My idea was to now I'm going to be a full-time YouTuber. Now I'm going to make more videos, collaborate with more brands. And then I also told myself, you know what, let's build Kin Apparel. Because I don't know if you remember, but like Kin Apparel was just like started off as a collaboration that I did with an agency. The agency was called Peak Brands, and basically they help content creators make a product for their audience. So when they reached out to me, I was like, hell yeah, I want to make satin line hoodies, because I had the idea to make satin line hoodies since 2017. And they reached out to me in 2018. And I was like, yeah, let's make some satin line hoodies. So my collaboration ended with them August of 2019. It started in the ending of 2018. We dropped the hoodies January 2019, and my collaboration ended August 2019. So the satin line hoodies thing was just something that was like there, and it wasn't something that I was focused on. It was just, I want to say, merch. It was like, you know how sometimes content creators have merch for their audience. So I had some merch for my kinfolk.
It was a supplement to the supplement, right? Like, it was kind of like, all right, it's an added value thing, but you weren't really pushing it.
Yeah, I wasn't pushing it at all until I took my leave from Natural Club, and I was like, you know what? Let's see if Kin Apparel can become something, because I told myself, actually, like, this is satin line hoodies can be huge. And now that I have all this time, let me take all the digital marketing stuff I learned, because high key, I consider myself like a digital marketing like genius. Like I'm actually like in the midst of creating like a digital marketing class.
You should. I'm gonna take you too.
Like an online digital marketing class. So I told myself, you know what, let me just do this and see how it goes. And I could not have expected. We'll get into that later, Raina, but Kin Apparel is huge now.
Hey, Dream Drivers. I don't know about you, but for me, the summer is the time when I indulge all my cravings. And sometimes I just want to bite up a big, juicy burger. And when I want that, I go and get me a McDonald's Big Mac. You can't forget about your McDonald's world famous fries. And I always add an order of an Oreo McFlurry too. And listen, I'm not a huge beef eater. So when I do eat beef, I try to make it count. And for me, I go heavy on the mac sauce. I always make sure I get my pickle to eat my Big Mac in peace. Now that I have a baby Dream Driver, I gotta make sure that I don't have to share everything because he's always in my plate. But listen, I haven't always been a Big Mac fan, but the day I tried it, I can now resonate with the whole, you don't know what you're missing until you've had a Big Mac. And you'll never forget the first person that put you on. So let me be that person for you. If you haven't already tried a Big Mac, make sure you add it to your next Mickey D's order. If you're like me and you're always on the go, you can always order ahead on the McDonald's mobile app. So let's talk about, give me the timeline. Mm-hmm. When did you say, all right, I'm going to go hard in Kin Apparel? Was this April 2020 then?
Yep. So April 3rd, I think, was my last day at Natural Club. It was a Friday. April 3rd. And yeah, that was my last day. And then I want to say the next day, or maybe the same day, two of my friends came over and we had like a little like celebration, like to new beginnings. They brought me a little cake and we had a little celebration to new beginnings. And I want to say that Monday, I was like, all right, let's do this. Let's start making content.
All right. So you were making content before you had the product. You were like, so what was, actually, let's reverse. What was the game plan then? You're like, all right, satin line hoodies. Mm-hmm. I want to really blow up this whole industry, this whole niche. What was the game plan? You don't have to go into too many details, but how did you really take this idea into motion and really put this dream into drive?
Thankfully, I had a couple more hoodies. I want to say I had like about 50 hoodies. Okay. 50 to 100 hoodies left in my basement. So I was like, all right, I'm going to start by selling these hoodies. So my whole game plan was to make videos, short videos and memes that sell product. And what I mean by that, I don't know if you've ever seen like an ad, but there's this app called InShot. And I basically take some photos and then there's a photo and then there's a headline on top. And that's what I considered a meme. That's an ad. So basically the headline will be like, Black woman owned business makes satin lined hoodies for hair protection. It's like a do-rag or a bonnet in a hoodie. And that was the ad. So that was the headline. And beneath it was like a picture of me and my two friends wearing the satin line hoodie. And basically I promoted that on shout out pages. So shout out pages are Black community pages, similar to the Shade Room, Embracing Black Culture, the Melanin Shades Room, Being Black is Lit. Those are all what I consider Black community pages. So they're pages that like post current events daily. And they have a huge following of my niche, and my niche is Black people. So you DM them and be like, hey, I want to post this ad. How much? So they'll be like, all right, it'll be $10. All right, it'll be $20. I think like the most expensive one I had ever paid for was like $200. But that was like a page that was like huge. Okay. So they post it, and that's how you get the word across to their community. So in me making these ads and posting them on these different shout out pages, that's how people found out about Kin Apparel. So they'll see the ad, and most of the comments I got were, this is genius. Oh, black women are amazing. What? I need 20 of these. So from these ads being posted, they'll click on my handle, they'll go to Kin Apparel, and then they'll follow Kin Apparel. So high key, that's how I grew Kin Apparel, through Instagram. Instagram was a huge place for me to grow Kin Apparel with these different pages. So I'll make the memes, and then, on the page, you still have to make engaging content so people actually stay on your page and not unfollow. So if you go to the page, you see like engaging short videos that got the point across. And then now I've transitioned to making TikTok videos, and TikTok is a huge revenue driver, even greater than Instagram, in my opinion. I really think people with maybe e-commerce stores should really invest in understanding digital marketing and like how to make it work for their business, because TikTok and Instagram are huge revenue streams, especially when you know how to make a TikTok or how to make a compelling video that would get views.
You know what I think too? I think a lot of people sometimes, and this is where I think some people don't realize it takes money to make money, right? Mm-hmm. So what were some of the things that you really had to invest in from the business standpoint to really make sure that Kin Apparel would thrive?
Okay, so I would say that you do need to invest in inventory. But what's so great about inventory is that you can do a pre-order. So you take the money that you got from the pre-order to actually buy the inventory. So with that money wasn't coming out of my pocket. It was coming out of the kinfolk and customers just supporting the vision. So when their hoodies came, you take that money and then you buy a lot. Right. So when those hoodies come, you send to the customers that already bought, and now you have inventory to sell. What was so great is that inventory was selling before the hoodies even came in. So it was damn, now I need to put in another purchase order. so that was what was so great, because people saw satin line hoodies as something so novel that they wanted it on it. They really wanted, and they loved that our hoods. So one thing that I do, we don't just make satin line hoodies because it's like a trend or a fad. We make satin line hoodies for hair protection. So we make sure that our hoodies are actually comfortable. We make sure that the hood is actually big enough to fit hair. So oftentimes you can't,
right? Because a lot of times you can't even put the hoodie on.
Exactly. Oftentimes the hood is not even big enough to fit your hair. So I like to say we make functional apparel or inclusive apparel. And I love when we get what's so great about it is we get these reviews from people that are like, thank you so much for so long. I never knew that I will find a product that like this, that actually cares about my hair. And I was like, wow, we're really doing something. And what I want to say, what really made me go hard for this was there was a review I got from a customer called Joanna, and she was like, I just recently finished my chemotherapy medication, and I was so happy when I found Kin Apparel, because as my hair grows back now, it's very fragile. So putting on something that protects it is so amazing, because my hair is not breaking off as it grows back. And I was just like, wow, that's crazy. Wow. I make these hoodies for hair care because that's my passion. But to know that it's even greater than that for some people, that was just an amazing moment for me.
And that's also just the power of purpose, right? And how you were really tapping into something that was just so much deeper. And I think it's kind of like your why, right? It's who you're doing it for and the thing that fuels you too. One thing that cannot be denied is just how much Kin Apparel has growth, right? I've seen y'all stories, the sold out. Now you have different SKUs. You have your reversible, your pillowcases, right? You really have expanded. Talk to me about that growth and how have you managed it? Because the dream has yet evolved once again, right?
Yeah.
What does growth look like now?
it was quick, and and with growing so fast, you learn a lot of lessons. But I could talk about the growth. So I would say that the growth was definitely because of the kinfolk. I want to say it was definitely also because of the year in which Kin Apparel became a brand. And basically 2020, we saw many people supporting Black-owned businesses. We saw a lot of quote unquote white guilt. So there was like so much support for Black-owned businesses. Whether it be like on Instagram, you saw so many movements to like support this business or support this business. There were so many pages posting on a daily. These are the apparel brands to support. These are the bag brands to support. Like on Essence, like everywhere. It was like an effort to support Black-owned businesses. And I think Kin Apparel capitalized on that effort because it was like, hey, yeah, you want to support a Black-owned business? Well, I sell satin line hoodies. And people are like, oh, satin line hoodies, that's actually kind of dope. Let me support. We also got featured in BuzzFeed like 10 times. And it was all organic. Like they wanted to feature us. So that also brought a lot of traffic to us. We were also on the Shade Room. So that brought a lot. I
was going to ask you about that. So that was organic too? Y'all didn't have to pay for that? That wasn't an ad?
No, actually, I paid for the Shade Room.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I paid for the Shade Room. It was $3K to post on the Shade Room. But I would say it was an amazing investment because of that $3K. I made that back within hours. We got 200 orders that day, plus grew 10,000 new followers. So the Shade Room audience is very, very much worth it. But to be honest, I really think it's in the way you make your ad, because there's different ways to make your ad to actually make an engaging ad, for people to actually like see it and also follow you. Because sometimes I see companies posting on the Shade Room and it's not really something that's engaging enough for people to, like, comment, actually go to the page. But, that's for my marketing.
Okay. See, marketing. Y'all gonna have to get Philomena's marketing class.
Yeah, that's for my marketing course. But yeah, we paid for the Shade Room. That brought a lot of traffic. We also won a lot of grants. So we won $70,000 in grants, and that's like non-dilutive funding. So we didn't even have to pay that back. So I want to say 2020 was the year to start a Black-owned business.
And also just the pandemic. People were at home. People were probably trying to find ways to, they were investing in their wellness, in their hair, figuring out how to do their hair, right? So if I'm figuring out how to do my own hair, I also need to protect it as well. So.
Exactly. Yeah, so we definitely capitalized on the pandemic. Yeah.
So what were some of the challenges, though? Because, with growth, as you said, does come challenges. What were some of the hard lessons that you learned as an entrepreneur?
I want to say transparency with your customers. Making sure you're definitely fully transparent with your customers, and making sure like your website is optimized so that like customers get full transparency. And what I mean by that will be like, there's often times when I'll be waiting for an order from, my manufacturer, and it's taking so long, and the delay is not because of me, like it's because of the manufacturer. And I'm just like, dang, I don't want to go to my customers and upset them some more, because sometimes I'll tell them, hey, there's a delay. And then I have to come back a week or two after, sorry, there's another delay. So I'm just like, so making sure like you prepare for delays. And what I mean by that is if someone is pre-ordering something and you and your manufacturer agree that, hey, it's going to take 4 weeks for the customer to get this, instead of saying 4 weeks to the customer, say 6 weeks. So like you prepare for any error that might go on within that time that you need to get the products. So for example, there's this app called Pre-Order Now. And with Pre-Order Now, you can put on your website whatever product is on pre-order. And that's what I did. But I will put like, oh, this is coming in 4 weeks, but it actually came in 6 or 7, right? So that was like, damn, that was some hardship that I had to go through. And then another thing is sometimes customers don't realize they're pre-ordering. So even though like on the website, it says pre-order now, and you actually,
I want this tomorrow.
Yeah. Like you actually click the button instead of saying buy now. now or add to cart, it says pre-order now. So you're clicking pre-order now. But some customers don't even look. So another thing I had to realize was actually, what if there was a way for customers to receive an email when they pre-order? So pre-order now has that option now where customers, when they pre-order, in addition to getting the email confirmation of their order, they also get an email that same second saying, hey, just to remind you, this was a pre-order. So, there's certain optimizations you need to make to your website to be fully transparent with your customers. Because at the end of the day, you want your customers to trust you. And the thing with the e-commerce business is that you want repeat customers. Like, you don't want a customer to buy a hoodie and then they're like, oh yeah, I have a Stand in Line hoodie, I'm good. Like, you want to be like, nah, actually, I want these customers to come back. Because I actually want my website to be sustained. I don't want to always have to like be looking for new people. I also want the people that I look for to come back because they love the experience and they love the hoodie. So yes, we sell quality hoodies, amazing quality, beautiful. And we put a lot of effort into making sure they're great, but it's also like, how's the customer experience? So that's something that I had to learn as well, making sure customer service was on point. And even though like, I'm not trying to lie to customers, sometimes customers will take it that way. Like, hey, you lied about this to get my money. And then they'll want a refund. But to me, it's like, no, I'm trying my best here.
And I think that's just something across e-commerce as a whole. Like, I know people who have businesses and like people are always trying to do chargebacks or with the whole shipping. Oh, UPS or whatever you use, postal carrier, they lost my order. And then you'll have to figure out, or you'll have to say, I know when I used to work at an e-commerce logistics company, and we would always have to be like, once we give it to the postal carrier, it's with the postal carrier. It's not like you can say, all right, I'm going to go and deliver it to your house. So if the postal carrier has delays, you really can't do anything about that, So it's just about like communication.
Exactly. And then another thing with growing too fast, one of the challenges is when you grow too fast, it's really hard for you to keep your books in order. Like, so what I mean by that is like, I had to learn the hard way. I had a personal account, and for the most part, I was using my personal account until I got a business account in August of 2020, but I didn't transition to using that until like January 2021. So like when it came time to do taxes, the accountant was like, bruh, we have to look in your personal and your business. Oh my goodness. It was just like mad work for the accountant to do. So it's important. Definitely please get yourself an EIN, meaning register your business. Get yourself an EIN number. Make sure your business is registered. Make sure you have a business account, checking, savings, and credit card. So whatever profits that that's coming in, put that profit into your savings, and then leave out what you need to like pay for expenses and inventory into your checking account, and then pay stuff with your credit card. So for credit cards, like pay for like your whatever email marketing tool you use, or like Shopify, pay for that. Put that all on your credit card to build business credit. I had to learn that. I had to also learn that I can't just like save my receipts in like filing cabinets. Like, get yourself a QuickBooks, which makes everything easier, because like it just organizes everything beautifully into folders for you. Make sure you get insurance, because you can be liable for something. Either like a customer has an allergic reaction to the satin that you're using, or maybe like the office gets like shot up.
Yeah.
like you gotta be prepared.
Let's hope not, right?
Exactly.
But it's real.
Yeah, make sure you get insurance. Make sure you get a CPA. A CPA is a certified public accountant. So it's like your trusted financial advisor that's gonna help you reach your financial goals for your business. And we recently got a CPA. So my business is still in like the developing and learning stages. Like high key, we're like a year old. I want to say I went full force in April of 2020, became a certified business in August of 2020. And then we got an office because I had to move out of my house. Yeah, I moved out April of 2021 because I was just like, yeah, there's no way I could keep doing this in my house. It was also like a safety concern, like have people coming in and out of where I live. So now we have an office as of April of 2021. So, and then that's when we got insurance. You got insurance because it's like, all right, now we're liable. Like this is an office, but like anything could happen. Make sure like you have your contracts and agreements in order, because sometimes like we look for manufacturers, we look for vendors, and then we make stuff with them, and then it's like a word of mouth agreement that like they're not gonna sell your product to someone else. So make sure like you have a signed agreement between the both of y'all, binding them to it. It's like a confidential agreement saying, hey, I'm making these designs and you're making them for only me. So that's something that's really important as well. And then don't forget to pay yourself. Like, for example, when I left Natural Club, I had a W-2, I was making money, and then that all stopped, and then I wasn't paying myself. So it was like my 2019 income and then my 2020 income on my income tax is like, whoa, what the hell happened? So that was another mistake that I made. Like, don't stop paying yourself, whether it's like a little bit, at least like you're still earning something. So when it comes time to do taxes, or maybe like you want to take out a mortgage, like you actually have something to show for that. So yeah, definitely pay yourself.
You know, you've learned so many lessons over these past 4 years. I just, if you have some time, go back and listen to episode 42, and you're going to be amazed of just how much you've grown since then, Philomena, right? The thing that I want to ask you now is, so what's the dream now, right? Maybe 4 years from now, we'll do another Where Are They Now? And you'll be blown away by the things you were saying today. Right now, what do you see across the horizon for yourself and for your company?
My passion is hair care. But my passion is not necessarily hoodies. Like, so I say that because I'm making functional apparel with a purpose. And the purpose is like to help people take care of their hair externally. But if you really, really dig deep into it, like, and, I had to have this conversation for myself. Like, Kin Apparel is not my end all be all, because my true passion is actually like bottled hair care products, like, like developing products that people physically like put into their hair. And that's why in the future, I actually see myself developing Kin hair care.
Listen, so that's I see it too. I see it too.
Yes. So Kin Apparel, I don't think is definitely not my end all be all. Like every company has their exit strategy. Some people sell, some people go public, sell, getting investors in there. Maybe like I step down as the CEO, give that to someone else, remain the founder, but like start doing something else. So it's all in the horizon. But I think like my next journey after I actually like could really build Kin Apparel to like a $1 million brand.
Multi-million. Don't even say million. Multi-million.
Yes, that's what I meant.
All right, Jeff Bezos. What?
Yes, that's what I meant. Multi-million-dollar brand. When I do that, I really want to develop Kin hair care.
But you know what? I think it's so beautiful because you really just have to start someplace, and even just having the subscriber base, and you really do, your kinfolk go hard for you. And I'm pretty sure they will transition with you, right? So if you start selling products today, you at least don't have to start from the bottom. And maybe that's why you had to kind of like, and the thing too is just how 2020, we had a global pandemic. You don't know how the world will change in 4 years, and how you can use your gifts and passion and figure out alignment, right? And figure out how to make it work for you. So I'm going to ask you this. Are you going back to school? What's with that? I just want to know, right?
Nah, I ain't going back to school.
All right. And how do you feel about that now? Like, do you feel confident with that? Do you feel like any regrets?
I feel confident. And the reason is I've learned so much since 2017. I've learned so much about digital marketing that, God forbid, like Kin Apparel doesn't work out. or like Kin hair care doesn't work out, I can always teach marketing classes.
Yes, I love that confidence, girl. I love that.
Yeah, because it's like at the end of the day, I've strayed away so much from epidemiology that I don't think I'm gonna love it as much to go back to school for it. Like I wouldn't be doing it for myself at that point.
Yeah. So, I couldn't have you on the show and not ask you this. What do you think is the biggest marketing hack that anybody who is, someone who's new to trying to sell products or even just promote their brand online, like what's the thing that you got to do if you want to build engagement or make money online? Your number one marketing hack.
I actually already said it. It's to make a short video or a meme and promote it on Black community pages.
But what if your product ain't for Black people, though?
That's true. I was just about to say that.
But find like a similar page. Like if it's a similar community page for other niches or whatever, there must be other ones.
No, I would actually, what's crazy? There aren't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I realized that like only Black people really have like the community pages. But if your product is not for Black people, I will say get hashtags. Actually, no, this is what you should do. Go on Instagram. First of all, make sure your business has an Instagram and make sure it's a business Instagram. Mm-hmm. Go on Instagram, go to your explore page and look at the types of content that you see on your explore page. And mainly look for the ones that are similar to what you're selling. Go to their caption. Usually in their caption, they'll have hashtags. And that if you see these types of content in your explore page, it's mainly because of the hashtags that they're using. Mainly because like you usually like look for stuff in the same realm. So copy those hashtags, and then the next time you post, use those hashtags in your post. And what I mean by this is that if you use hashtags that are in your niche, more people are able to discover you. So, and that's what has also been working for me. So go to the explore page, look for the hashtags that are related to the videos on your explore page, write them down, and then the next time that you post, use those hashtags, but also recycle through your hashtags. You don't want to use the same ones for each post because Instagram might flag you as a spam page.
Yeah, I think even I'm looking at my explore page now. I think even just looking at that for inspo for types of content that works, right? Yep. Like what are the ones that are getting a lot of engagement? Not saying you have the copy, but you kind of can just see like what are people who are your target audience? What are they seeing? What are they engaging with as well?
Exactly.
Philomena, you cannot be a dream driver without having your keys to success, right? You got to have those keys if you're going to be dream driving. Let me know 3 things that you think every dream driver needs in their toolkit before they hit the road.
Okay. And these don't need to be physical, right? They could be abstract.
No, they could be intangible. They could be whatever you want them to be, girl.
Okay, so I will say my first one will be work smart, not hard. Oftentimes people are like, I'm working so hard and nothing is happening. And I'm just like, wait, are you working hard? Like, are you working smart? Should you be working hard or should you be working smart? And what I mean by that, when you start to think differently about how you work, you realize that you're more efficient. So you realize that there are different ways that you can do things that will actually like make your life way easier. For example, before I got a QuickBooks, I was like jotting things down by like writing it in one of my notebooks, keeping things in a filing cabinet. And even though that might seem like you're working hard because you're keeping up with everything that you're buying in your books, but it's also like, hey, there's a way more efficient way to do this.
Yeah.
So that's an example of working smart. Another thing that I will say that there's a certain time when you realize that you can't do everything as an entrepreneur. And it takes a lot to realize that. Mm-hmm. So there's this saying that's like, before you can solve a problem, you got to admit that you have one. Like something like that. Yep. So I will say that when it comes to growing as an entrepreneur, there's a certain time when you realize that I can't do all of this. And there's a certain point where you need to invest in a team. And I will say that when you're growing a business, your greatest asset is your team. And you need to make sure you find people that you trust, because at the end of the day, you wouldn't hire these people if you couldn't trust them, and you wouldn't hire them to do work for your business if you couldn't let go. So trust the people that you hire, and actually hire people. Because when you hire people, you realize that, dang, I really wasn't doing that the best way I could. And this person is way more smarter at doing this than I am. For example, I realized that I have the tendency to be an introvert. I'm actually really an introvert, even though some people think I'm an extrovert. I'm so introverted. And sometimes I need to keep to myself. And sometimes when I'm writing something for a grant, words don't come to me as easily as it comes to my head of operations. So she's so great with words, and it comes to her easily. But with me, I have to sit there and type and remember scenarios, or lay on a couch. It's just a lot. Yeah. So I'm just damn, that's not really working smart. But with her, it's oh yeah, I got this. And she's done. I'm just wow. And then I just have to edit. So she's great at making drafts. I'm great at editing the drafts. So it's thinking through that and hiring a team. So yeah, definitely work smart, not hard. Get a team, because you can't do everything. Lastly, I really think that everyone needs to understand digital marketing. Even if you have a brick and mortar, you can even post online to get more traffic to your brick and mortar. So I would say if it's a YouTube video that you have to watch, or if it's other brands that are doing amazingly on TikTok, if you have to study their videos, go ahead, because it's very, very important that you understand how to use free apps to make money, specifically Instagram and TikTok.
These are all great tips. And I feel listen, if y'all not implementing these, you don't see nothing, don't say Philomena didn't tell you, right? Because she's giving you all the gems right here. Philomena, tell our dream drivers where they can connect with you online, where they can get their Kin Apparel. Ooh. Let us know.
Yes, dream drivers, you can go to kinapparel.org to get your satin line hoodies. And let me create a code for y'all. Let's do Dreams and Drive.
Okay.
Dreams and Drive for 15% off.
All right. Yes.
So yeah, you can connect with us at kinapparel.org. You can also find us on Instagram at kinapparel_. And then you can also find us on TikTok at kinapparel_. So we're pretty big on TikTok and Instagram. I'm trying to get into Twitter by the end of this year. I'm not really a Twitter person. Props to the people that go hard on Twitter.
It's good when you want to just troll other people or see what people are talking about, but you really have to really be on Twitter to really engage all the time, and really it works for some people,
Maybe one day I'll hire someone to do our Twitter when we have the funds for that.
That multi-million, when y'all hit that multi-million level, right?
Period.
All right, Philomena.
Yeah. And they can also, if they also want to, look at Naturally Philow's content, they could catch me on Naturally Philo on YouTube and Instagram.
All right. This has been so much fun. And of course, guys, if you haven't listened to Philomena's first episode, that's episode 42 of Dreams and Drive, go back and listen. You have come so far, and I know that the journey is not over for you, girl. And I am just wishing you the best as you continue to dream drive.
Thank you so much, Raina. And also, I see you doing it big. And also your little precious kid. That's so cute.
Yes, baby Axel. My little passenger now. So
so cute.
We out here. Thank you, girl.
Of course.
All right, so that's a wrap for episode 274 with Philomena. I hope you enjoyed hearing her dream driving journey as well as her keys to success. If you enjoyed this episode, guys, please make sure that you're sharing it with your own communities. You can find us across the board on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're Dreams and Drive, and use the hashtag Dreams and Drive when sharing as well. And remember, if you want to get 15% off Kin Apparel, Philomena's satin line hoodies brand, she also has other products as well. Use the code Dreams and Drive at checkout. That's Dreams and Drive at checkout. That's Kin Apparel.org. And if you want to join our email newsletter and get weekly updates from Dreams and Drive, just sign up at dreamsanddrive.com/join. That's dreamsanddrive.com/join. Remember, we are still looking to hear from you. If you have a story that you think would be worthy of being on Dreams and Drive, if you know somebody who's really putting their own dreams into motion, have them pitch us at dreamsanddrive.com/pitch. That's dreamsanddrive.com/pitch. Keep dreaming, keep driving, and we'll chat again in episode 275. Bye, guys.